Kokei received a horse from the Emperor Doko as a reward for his teaching. He rode away on it, but then fell off and broke his leg. When he returned to the temple, he had the head monk make some crutches. Supported by the crutches, Kokei came across a monk, to whom he said, "Do you know me?" "Why shouldn't I know you?" replied the monk. Kokei said, "Here's somebody who expounded the Dharma and can't walk as a result of it." On another occasion, a monk asked Kokei, "What should we speak about before the many children stupa?" Kokei said, "If one tells a lie, 10,000 report it as truth." At another time, Hoju, a disciple of Rinzai, said to Tanku, a fellow disciple, "When a man comes to you who has put away the second and third roots, how do you receive him?" Tanku responded, "You have, in bringing up this question, already made a mistake." Hoju replied, "You also have not avoided error." Tanku continued, "Be my friend." Hoju added, his hand by his side, "You old robber."
Friends, the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, has made a statement to an international conference. The statement says that the earth is one. All national boundaries should be dissolved. All differences of caste and race and color should be dissolved. All divisions of organized religions should be dissolved. I have been telling the same thing for almost 20 years, and my every meeting is an international conference. But I don't have the power. I am not a politician. I would like Mr. Rajiv Gandhi to understand the implications of what he is saying. I support him with my whole heart. But the question is, who is going to begin it? If I had the power, India would have been the first nation in the world to dissolve its armies, to drown all its armaments, to dissolve all distinctions of caste and religion and race. I would like to know from Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, what you are preaching, can you practice? And if you cannot practice, please don't preach nonsense. You have the power, you have the idea, now go ahead. Somebody has to begin it. Don't wait that somebody else will begin and the idea is yours. Take the risk. You are young enough, intelligent, have guts. Take the risk and begin what you are saying. Let India be the first nation to dissolve all distinctions and become part of one earth, one world. Perhaps he has not looked into the implications. And I am wondering that international conference, nobody stood up and asked him, if this is your idea, then start it. Take the risk. There is no evolution in the world without any risk. I am reminded of an old story which I have refined. I go on refining. You must have known, and Mr. Rajiv Gandhi must have known the old story, but he may not be aware of the refinement, so I have to repeat it. The old story is, for millions of years, international conferences of mice have been discussing the problem how to be safe and secure against the cats. And they have always, without fail, come to the conclusion that there is only one conclusion. A bell should be put around the neck of the cat. A good idea, because the bell will make the mice aware that the cat is coming. They can simply slip in their holes. But the problem was, who is going to bind a bell into the neck of the cat? And there all international conferences ended. And here comes my refinement. The last international conference of the mice was again in the same problem. There is only one problem, the cat. After long discussions, they come to the same conclusion. But the problem is, who is going to do it? A young mouse stood up and said, I am going to do it. All the elders laughed. They said, you are too young, you don't understand the risk. The young mouse said, I understand everything. Tomorrow you will see the cat with the bell. They looked at him absolutely unbelievingly. But he managed it. He went by the side of the house in a medical store, found some tranquilizers, put them into the milk of the cat. When she was fast asleep under tranquilizers, he managed to bind a bell into her neck. Next day, all the mice could not believe. And the cat could not believe what has happened. Wherever I go, the mice immediately disappear. Rajiv Gandhi, you are a young mouse. It is time not just to talk. Take the risk. Begin from this country. And I have immense trust in the intelligence in the world. If one country takes the risk, others are bound to follow. Don't wait that there will be an agreement amongst all the nations to do it simultaneously. Then it is never going to happen. That agreement is impossible. One has to start knowing perfectly well the danger and the risk. But I remind you, nothing happens without risks. No evolution, no progress. Yes, the earth has to be one. Without the earth being one, we cannot solve its problems. It is now so clear that even blind people can see it, that unless the earth is one, without boundaries, a world without boundaries, and we can dissolve all the problems under which the humanity is suffering immensely. And in the coming 10 years, it is going to suffer almost suicide. It is still time. Somebody should come out. You have made a beautiful speech, but you are not aware that somebody is going to ask you that if you know the idea, why not start practicing it? Who is preventing you? That which is preventing you is preventing everybody. The fear. Come out of the fear. Anyway, you have nothing to lose. This country has lost everything. Only a poor country which has nothing to lose can take the risk. America is not going to take the risk. Neither Soviet Union. They have too much to lose if they take the risk. But what we have got, 900 million poor people, which are going to die in utter starvation, misery, suffering in the coming 10 years. It is a good opportunity. I hope you will understand what I am saying. From tomorrow morning, start dissolving the armies, drowning all your ornaments into the ocean. And hope for the West that the intelligence around the world will follow it. Nobody listens to words. Actions are needed to materialize any idea into a reality. I will wait for tomorrow. What I have said should be sent immediately in a telegram to Rajiv Gandhi. Tomorrow morning begins a new history for man. Otherwise, take your words back and apologize to the whole humanity. These political talks have tortured us too much. One friend has asked that everywhere in the world for some support or to negate something, people are asked to raise their one hand. Why do you ask always to raise the both hands? A relevant question. But I never do anything which I cannot scientifically explain to you. Your two hands are connected with your two brains, crosswise. Your right hand is connected with the left brain. Your left hand is connected with the right brain. And these two brains have no bridge, no communication amongst themselves. So when you are asked to raise one hand, it is bound to be the right hand. A strange fallacy persists for centuries, as if right is right and left is wrong. So people are asked to raise their right hand in support or in negation, but that represents only the left brain, only your half being. Your right brain may not be with your left brain, may not support it. One hand is half-hearted. That's why I ask you always to raise both hands. Both hands represent your whole heart, your whole mind, your whole being. Nothing is left out of it. One hand does not approve that you are totally with the hand. Your half mind, your half body is no more with it. So it is not just without any reason that I have always asked you to raise your both hands, because I want you always to be total, never be partial. Only a total man is an authentic man. And a third small thing, A British scientist, James Lovelock, has been working almost for 25 years trying to prove that even Earth has its own organic life. If it can be proved that Earth has its own organic life just as you have, then it is only taking the theory to the stars, to the moon, to the sun. They all have their own life. It was very difficult for poor British scientists. The whole scientific mind is against the idea. That's why he has been struggling for 25 years to prove it. Now he has come out with evidences that life is not your monopoly. Neither mind is your monopoly. Animals have it, trees have it, and when trees come out of the earth, and we are also made of the earth, remember Umar Khayyam, dust unto dust. The day will come, we will be back into the dust. Everything that arises on the earth finally goes back to the earth. It cannot be that earth is dead. Otherwise, life is not possible at all. From where trees will get their life? From where you will get your life? The earth has a certain atmosphere around it, 200 miles into the sky, a layer of breathing space. Birds, animals, trees, man, all species breathe into the air. What is your food? It comes from the earth. It gives you life. It gives you intelligence. Unless it contains it, it cannot give it to you. That is so simple a logic. And James Lovelock is perhaps not aware that in the East, for thousands of years, without any scientific experimentation, the mystics have propounded the fundamentals. Their very clarity of no mind has seen life all around. There is nothing dead. But perhaps he is not aware of the East, he is not aware of the Eastern mystics. Otherwise, he would have found an immense support, if not from the scientists, then from the mystics, which have a far wider perceptibility, far deeper sensitivity. They have gone deep into themselves and they have found the life arises from the cosmos. Just as we are getting life from the cosmos, all the planets, all the stars are getting life from the cosmos. sometimes they are born. Do you know every day dozens of great stars are born, and every day dozens of great stars die. Everything that is born and dies must have life in between birth and death. Otherwise, what is birth? And what is death? Unless life is in between birth and death have no meaning. Perhaps he is going to have a great difficulty to convince the scientists, but I give him my whole support on behalf of all the mystics, Sufis, Zen, all the Buddhas. He should look for his support into the East and the Eastern conception that everything is life in different shapes, in different forms, expressing itself in immense variety, and that variety makes existence beautiful. Man in his ignorance has been disturbing the life of this planet. The earth needs a certain amount of trees, and we have cut down just to make paper for third-rate yellow newspapers. There is no need of these yellow newspapers, these pornographic magazines. When alive people are there, why bother about a printed naked woman? Just a photograph. When I was in the first American jail, in my cell I had one Negro partner. He was a very pious fellow, although he was charged with murder and rape and all kinds of things. Pious people do all kinds of things. He used to put his head on the Bible every morning, every evening. He will put the Bible on the bed, kneel down on the ground, put his head on the Bible. He was not educated, so he could not read. And just above the Bible, he has all kinds of nude women, which he has cut from newspapers in all kinds of insane postures. The whole wall was covered with nude women. I asked him that, do you bow down to these nude women? He said, no, I have the Bible. I said, you don't know how to read? He said, no, I don't know. Who said to you that this is Bible? He said, the jail authorities have given it to me. And what you do when you kneel down? He said, I pray to God. But I said, I have been watching you for 3 days continuously. Only the nude women laugh. He said, they laugh? I said, I have been watching because you are with closed eyes putting your head on the Bible, you can't see. And it happens only at that time that they all laugh. He looked at me. I said, what kind of religion is this? He said, I am a devout Catholic. I said, great. These are Catholic saints. He said, I am sorry for that. But I said, you have been doing both the things together. Every day I see you cutting some picture from some magazine, Playboy, Playgirl, Penthouse. And you go on putting, and you don't see the contradiction. That this is your repressed sexuality. And a repressed sexuality can never be prayerful. The prayer will be polluted with repressed sex. A repressed sexual human being can never be in meditation. Those sexual pictures will arise from the unconscious. And this is not only about that poor Negro. The Hindu scriptures say that when the seers, great Hindu seers, they are great saints, reached the ultimate peak, just one step more and they will become gods. Hindu is not one God-oriented religion. It has many gods. In fact, 33 million gods. Once at a time, India has the population of 33 million. At that time, those scriptures were written. Obviously, everybody needs a God, a personal God, just like a personal guard. One God cannot maintain correspondence and prayers and answer. It seems to be perfectly mathematical that each person has a God of his own. He can approach. 24 hours he is at service. These gods in the heaven have a chief God to maintain the 33 million gods. Otherwise, there will be chaos in heaven. They will fight because there are beautiful women available. So they will fight which woman. There will be bloodshed. So one God is the chief God to keep the maintenance. His name is Indra. And that chief God always becomes afraid of anyone reaching to higher consciousness than himself. Because if somebody reaches to higher consciousness, he will come to heaven and dethrone Indra and take his place. It is sheer competition. The big fish eats the small fish. The same law of jungle applies to heaven, to gods. So whenever a Hindu saint reaches to the highest peak, Indra immediately sends the most beautiful woman from heaven. Urvasi is one of the most beautiful women in heaven. He sends Urvasi immediately. He monopolizes Urvasi. He does not allow any other god. She is the most beautiful woman in heaven. If by chance you reach there, first find out where Urvasi is. Perhaps she is the reincarnation of Cleopatra or Amrapali, India's most beautiful woman of the times of Gautam Buddha. He sends Urvasi naked. Urvasi dances around the saint. Obviously, the poor saint has been sitting on a volcano of repressed sexuality. And such a beautiful woman which does not perspire, no deodorant are needed, no mouthwash, she is always clean and fresh. She never ages. She is always 16 years of age. For centuries, she is still 16 years of age. Just the time has stopped. Perhaps the clock has stopped. Naturally, this old idiot who has been thinking he is a saint opens his eyes. He forgets all about saintliness, gets involved with Urvasi, and he is finished. And Urvasi disappears. Once he has ejaculated, Urvasi is gone. That was the purpose. Now again he has to begin from the zero. And by the time he reaches to the top of the ladder, again the Urvasi will come. A strange game. You call it religion? But these are mass-oriented ideas. Whatever the mass wants, whatever the unconscious mind of people wants, religions are ready to supply the demand. But there has been a small line of authentic seekers in the East who will agree with James Lovelock. He calls his theory Gaia. Gaia theory that Earth is an alive organism which maintains its own balance. But man is trying in every way to disturb the balance because he has not recognized that the earth is your mother and the sky is your father, not any god. You are beings of the earth and the sky. You are the meeting point of the earth and sky. You are born out of earth and sky. That's why in the East the woman is called the earth and the man is called the sky. And certainly it balances, that proves its intelligence. Whenever there are 100 girls born, 115 boys are born simultaneously. Strange. Because 15 boys die before the age of marriage. So by the time they are marriageable, the balance is there. 100 girls, 100 boys. An indication of the very life process that it keeps on balancing everything. But because of man's ignorance, he does not understand the ecology. He goes on destroying the balance. He has now even made holes in the ozone layer that surrounds, after the 200 miles of air, a thick ozone layer all around the earth, protects it from sun's death rays. All rays are not nourishment to life. There are rays which are fatal to life. This ozone layer returns back death rays and allows only that which enhances life. But we have made holes in the ozone layer by sending rockets to the moon. Utter ignorance. And now scientists are repenting what we have done. Because rockets going, rockets coming, Russian rockets, American rockets, and they have made hundreds of holes in the ozone layer. Now from those holes, death rays can enter on the earth. They are entering. The rate of cancer has gone 4 times bigger since the ozone layer has been broken. But man, in his utter stupidity, what is the use of going to the moon? You cannot manage even the earth. What you will do on the moon? You will simply stand there and look stupid. There is nothing, no water, no clouds, no rain, nothing green, no visible life still has happened on the moon. Moon may be having life of its own, but it has not come to expression. Because many things are missing. Water is missing, fire is missing, and without water there cannot be any clouds. The ozone layer is missing, because ozone layer is just like oxygen with a little more oxygen than the ordinary oxygen. It is a well-founded theory that quantity changes quality. When oxygen is thicker, at a certain moment it becomes ozone. Now you have cut trees which breathe out oxygen. Every day, hundreds of trees are being cut in every country for useless things which are not necessary to life. And as there is not enough oxygen even for human beings and the animals, those holes cannot be filled with ozone. Otherwise, Earth will have managed to fill those gaps again with new ozone. But there is not enough oxygen even to support life here on the planet. Ozone is a far away thing. James Lovelock has come to a tremendously meaningful discovery. Mystics have been talking about it all the time, but nobody hears the mystic because they cannot produce any evidence. They are not scientists. They don't have any labs to experiment. All that they have is their inner perception, their clarity, their enlightenment, their awakening to all this great life all around. I would like James Lovelock to come here. Lovelock is not a good name, James. We will open the lock and return you back just James Love. The Sutra. Koke received a horse from the Emperor Doko as a reward for his teaching. He rode away on it, but then fell off and broke his leg. When he returned to the temple, he had the head monk make some crutches. There was a time in the world when the horse was the most valuable animal, the fastest in peace times, the most courageous in war. It was one of the great gifts in those days. So when Emperor Doko heard that Koke has become enlightened, he thought what to send as a present. He must have sent some Arabian horse because they are the best in the world, pure white and of the greatest speed and of tremendous power. India has been defeated again and again for almost 2000 years, And you will not believe me, the reason was the enemies were very small, but they were coming on horses. And India was vast, but India's emperors had armies of elephants. That was the reason of its continuous defeat, because elephants are royal people. They don't compete with small horses. They walk just like emperors. And because horses were small, they could enter into the army of Indian emperors inside. And once the enemy attacks the elephant, he goes crazy. He creates a stampede. Then he does not bother whom he is destroying. His own people, his own army. He turns back and starts killing people. Now you cannot control him. India was defeated for the simple reason again and again. They thought that elephant is a great animal. He is. But in the war, a horse is more practical. If a marriage ceremony is there, elephant is perfectly good. But the war is not a marriage ceremony. So Emperor Doko sent Koke a beautiful horse as a present. Now, Koke must have not ever ridden on a horse. There is no need for his enlightened man living in his mountain to have a horse. This must have been the first time seeing the beautiful horse that Koke rode on it. That shows one thing, that even enlightened people can commit mistakes. Except the Christian Pope, everybody commits mistakes. Only the Christian Pope is infallible. Even Jesus commits mistakes. He talks about loving your enemies, even loving your neighbors. I wonder he has forgotten to tell, love your wives too, your husbands too. And I think it is a tautology. Loving your enemies and loving your neighbors, they are the same people. And one day it happened that he passed 2-3 villages and they were not welcoming. They were angry, they closed their doors, they did not give them food or water or shelter. So he was getting angry. Although he talks about that you should not be angry, you should always be pure love, love even for the enemy. And then hungry and thirsty they come. To a tree, and it is not the season for the tree to give fruits. But when you are angry, you are blind. He curses the tree, fig tree, that you have insulted the only begotten Son of God by not producing figs. Now it is not the season, and the fig tree has no concern with any God. He is not even aware that the only begotten Son is hungry, and he curses the tree that you will be condemned forever. Now this man talks about forgiveness as the greatest virtue, anger as a sin. Certainly, what he is saying in his sermons, he himself cannot practice. He is fallible as any human being. I am not condemning him, I am simply saying he is fallible. Only these idiot popes are infallible. And there are thousands of instances which prove that they are fallible. One pope ordered that a great investigation should be made about a young woman The investigation was made. The whole country loved the woman because she has been fighting for the country and she has achieved the freedom for the country. This angered the Pope, that she is being worshipped more than him. His investigation team proved that she is possessed by witches. Devil is at work. The woman was burnt alive. The whole country was shocked. After 300 years, seeing that the wound in the country's heart has not healed, and they are still angry at the Pope, although that Pope is gone, but some other Pope has taken his place. The Pope thought it is better to console the people. It is dangerous to let them go away from you. So he declared the woman that she was not possessed of witches and she was not possessed of devil. She was a saint. So after 300 years, her grave was opened again. Only bones have remained. The bones were worshipped. Even the Pope was there to worship the bones. And then a great memorial has been made. And who says that popes are infallible? Either the first pope was fallible or the second pope is fallible. It is such a clear-cut instance. It is sheer stupidity to call yourself infallible. Even God is not infallible. I have my evidence for it. It is said God made the whole world, then He made man and woman, and after that He realized the mistake. That He has gone too far. Since then, nobody has heard about Him. He has been on holiday. The Sunday never ends. It has been for eternity. What happened to Him? He was expected to come to his job on Monday. He has left the whole world in a mess. Everything incomplete. Everything undeveloped. But why he became so much afraid? As he created man and woman, he recognized that he has committed a mistake by creating man and woman. These are the people who are going to destroy everything that I have created. One was hoping that as President Ronald Reagan retires, the new president, George Bush, will prove more human, but the situation is on the contrary. He is now supporting with $3 billion to create the greatest death gas which will kill only the living people, living trees, living animals, and leave the houses intact, roads intact, cars intact, railway, trains intact. Everything will remain intact. The gas will only kill the living beings. Just see the nightmare of the earth. Houses and houses, streets and streets, trains standing on the platform and nobody on the platform, aeroplanes on the aerodrome and nobody on the airport, no dogs, no peacocks, no swans, no trees, just man-made things which are dead. And the gas will be invisible. It can be simply showered on you and you will not know when you were alive and when you were not. In a single moment, as you take one puff of the gas, one breath, you are finished. Ronald Reagan has been thinking to create this gas which is going to be the most fatal instrument in any war, because you will not even be able to see. The whole earth can be drowned in the gas clouds and life disappears. seeing the man and the woman, God disappeared. Because he must have seen in the faces of men Adolf Hitler, Ronald Reagan, George Bush. They are all going to be descendants of this fellow, Adam. He stopped creation immediately and escaped one knows not where. It is a vast universe without any boundaries. The master Koke, not realizing the fact that to ride on a horse, and particularly a horse that has been sent by the emperor, you need a certain training. You need a certain education. That was not an ordinary horse. It was not a donkey of Pune. He rode away on it, but then fell off and broke his leg. When he returned to the temple, he had the head monk make some crutches. Supported by the crutches, Koke came across a monk to whom he said, "Do you know me?" Certainly he looks different with the crutches and the wounds. He asks, "Do you know me?" "Why should not I know you?" replied the monk. Koke said, "Here is somebody who expounded the Dharma. Here is somebody who has been teaching how to be enlightened, and now he cannot walk as a result of it. I became enlightened. I had no idea that the emperor will send a horse as a present, otherwise I would have remained unenlightened. Now see the situation. As a result of my enlightenment, I cannot even walk." It is a good warning to you. Before you become enlightened, have another idea, another thought, or some advice. Because who knows, after enlightenment, what kind of troubles you are going through. I know perfectly well. After enlightenment, I have gone through thousands of troubles. But those troubles are just outside. They have not touched me at all. I don't repent, but still I warn you. When the moment comes and you see enlightenment coming, have at least one more opinion. That should I become enlightened? But the reality is you don't have time for it. When enlightenment comes, there is no way to get out of it. It suddenly comes and surrounds you, and wherever you go, it is with you. But certainly problems are bound to arise, which don't arise for ignorant people. Once you are enlightened, everybody is against you. Because the very phenomenon of your enlightenment hurts their ego. You are just as human as they are, and you have become enlightened and they have not become enlightened. They cannot tolerate your height and their smallness. There are only two ways: either to grow up to your height, which is an uphill task. The easier way is to destroy the enlightened world, to poison the Socrates, to crucify Jesus, to murder Al-Hillah's Mansur. That is easier. Then the whole crowd is satisfied and consoled that there is nobody who is above us. Everybody is of the same size. An ancient Greek story is a famous king has made a guest house for other kings when they used to come. He made such a beautiful guest house, even better than the palace. And he made a golden bed exactly fitting to him. If he was 5 feet 5 inches, he made the bed exactly 5 feet 5 inches. Nobody has the courage to ask him, "What are you doing?" Somebody may come who is 6 feet and he will not find comfortable on this bed. But the king was well known that if you ask him anything, he answers with his sword. Your head will be cut down. You cannot ask anything. His word is the law. So the craftsman made the bed exactly to fit a man who is 5 feet 5 inches. But it is very difficult to find same size people. The first emperor who became the guest, he loved the guest house. But he repented later on, but it was too late. In the night, 4 big wrestlers came in because he was 6 feet high. They had to push him from both sides to fit the bed. The king has ordered everybody has to fit the bed. If he is too long, cut him short or push him. If he is too short, pull him long. Don't be worried whether he lives alive or dead. I have made a special bed of pure gold. The emperor tried hard, but those 4 wrestlers first tried to push him to 5 feet 5 inches, but it was a difficult job. How to push a 6 feet man? They almost killed him. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "You have to fit with the bed." Because they could not manage to push him shorter, they had to cut his head. Then he was perfectly fitting to the bed, and they told to the king, "The guest is in absolute rest." Just 2-3 persons more were caught by him. Then the story spread. But he killed 3 kings just in trying to fit them according to the bed. And that is happening all over the world by all the religions. They want you to fit their 10 commandments. They want to fit you according to their scriptures. They don't care about you. Their bed is more important. It is made of 24 karat gold. Now all those commandments, all those disciplines preached 5,000, 10,000 years before have become out of date. They need refinement. They also need evolution, as everything is evolving, but no religion is ready to modify anything or refine anything or evolve anything. It has been given by God, and He knows better. So you have to follow things which don't suit you. And all the religions are old. And everything has changed since then. Only those scriptures are dead and they cannot change. But their ideologies are poisonous. They will kill you. They are killing human beings. Their very spirit is destroyed. Their radiance has been taken away. Their growth is stifled. And for all this, they are respected as virtuous, honored as saints. The more you cut yourself according to the out-of-date principles, the more respectable you become, but more dead. You will not find a respectable person alive. He cannot afford to be alive. Women have been taught by all the religions not to enjoy love making. To enjoy it is a sin. Remain almost dead, not enjoying it, so the whole sin goes to the man. You are out of it. I have heard about a drunkard who was brought into the court in France. He was making love on the beach to a dead woman. The judge asked, "Do you realize that the woman was dead?" He said, "No, I thought she is English." She was lying so silently, unmoving. She was certainly not French. But all the religions have told. That's why only the missionary posture is allowed. Man on top of the woman. So he can have movement, but the woman cannot move. The beast on the beauty. The woman has been told even not to open her eyes, because even to enjoy by opening your eyes what is happening is sin. So every woman closes her eyes, becomes completely cold, almost stops breathing, and just waits when the beast finishes. That is the reason that only in this century psychoanalysts discovered the possibility of a woman having orgasm. For millions of years, woman was not even aware that her body is capable of having an orgasm. She was just a factory of reproduction. These stupid ideas. What is wrong when you are making love in not enjoying it? I don't see any sin in it. Make it more joyful, make it more blissful, make it a dance, so that you can come to an organism. This experience may lead you towards meditation. Because what happens when you are in a state of utter joy and blissfulness, time stops, mind stops, just for a few seconds, but in those few seconds, doors of the meditation open. My own understanding is that it is through sexual ecstasy that man has discovered meditation. He discovered that in sexual ecstasy, when both the partners have disappeared almost into each other, and both are throbbing with joy and blissfulness, those who were intelligent, they detected what is happening. They witnessed that time has disappeared, that mind has disappeared. It was a very easy conclusion that if you can manage time to disappear and mind to disappear, perhaps you will come to the same space for a longer time, because it will be in your hands. Sexual ecstasy cannot last long, perhaps for few minutes. But if you are a witness, I will not say don't enjoy it, I will say rejoice in it, but remember to witness whatever is happening. What changes are happening in your inner being? Where is the mind? There is no thought. Where is the time? Suddenly there is no sense of time at all. And these two are the basic things. If they disappear, you are in meditation. Then the woman does not need the man does not need the woman. They become for the first time independent. Meditation was discovered through love. But the people who have been told to repress their joy, to repress their ecstasy, are never going to find the taste of meditation. A very unrepressed, uninhibited energy is needed for meditation. But once you become enlightened, Koke says rightly, here is somebody who expounded the Dharma and can't walk as a result of it. But still I will say to you, even if you can't walk, even if you can't live anymore amongst the insane world, still enlightenment is not to be missed. At whatever cost, it is cheap. On another occasion, a monk asked Koke, what should we speak about before the many children stupa? Koke said, if one tells a lie, 10,000 report it as truth. On the mountain where Koke used to preach, there was a memorial which was called Many Children Stupa. Now children are not given memorials, and children have not yet been able to become enlightened. Stupa, according to the Zen tradition, is made only in the memory of a Buddha, of the awakened one. It is a huge, round, very vast and big memorial with beautiful carvings all around it, with a beautiful gate, either golden or marble or some special stone. If you want to see beautiful stupas, Sanchi near Bhopal is the place. It has the best stupa in the world. Just to see the gate, one can imagine it must have been hundreds of years to make such a beautiful gate. Each inch is carved in stone. And there is such symmetry, and the stupa is a beauty to see. But a stupa is given only as a memorial to the enlightened one. So of course this many children stupa must have been a lie. Hence Koke says, if one tells a lie, 10,000 report it as truth. Lies are very impressive. You just start a lie, and by the evening the whole city will be believing it, and perhaps on the returning way it may come to you also, and you may suspect whether it is a lie or a truth. If the whole city is such a self-styled, cultured city believes it, it must be true. If you say the truth to anybody, nobody is going to believe you, and you have found the truth. Just keep your mouth shut. If people hear it, they will kill you. But if you give a beautiful lie, everybody enjoys it. And it goes on mouth to mouth, immediately like wildfire, and soon it becomes true. It gathers new information that you had not imparted. It gathers new ornaments, and by the evening when it comes back to you, you cannot believe this is the same lie that you have started. The world loves lies because lies don't need you to be transformed. Lies are good conversation, but truth is a danger. To utter it is to invite all kinds of calamities. I have watched all kinds of things against me. Even when I was a student in the university, I have been expelled from this college, from that college, from this university to that university, just because I did not tolerate any lie in any subject matter. In one college, I fought for 8 months continuously on one subject. Finally, the professor resigned. He said, if this young man remains in my subject, I cannot teach. When I am going to finish the course, 8 months are gone, and he won't let me move a single inch. He brings such strange arguments. He comes with a lot of information to support. I was searching in the library, in all the encyclopedias, Because all the professors are at least, if they are experienced, 20 to 30 years back. In 30 years, knowledge has grown so much, objective knowledge, scientific knowledge, that what was right 30 years before is no more right. But those people had been studying 30 years before, they are still carrying the same ideas. And when I brought the new ideas, they felt embarrassed. They wanted the principal to expel me. And I have been called again and again to the principal's offices or the vice chancellor's offices. That why do you create trouble? I said, I don't create trouble. I simply want that what has become out of date is a lie. The truth should be spoken. These teachers are dead 30 years before they died. Since then, they have not looked into the world. Everything has been changing. Principals accepted that you are right, but we cannot afford the resignation of a well-known professor. He is our prestigious person. I said, you are giving more credit to prestige than to truth. You can expel me, but you will repent it. It will remain like a wound, because you are accepting I am right, and still you are expelling me. Do you have any sense of dignity or not? And when it became well known, because the city I was studying has 20 colleges, so enough possibilities for me to move from one college to another college. But soon it became known to every college. And they simply started refusing me, that we will not allow you in this college. What is the point? Within 2 months you will be expelled, not more than that, because we know your whole history. You have not lasted in any college. I had to take support of a lie. Because truth was not functioning. So rather than going to the office, early in the morning I inquired about the principal. What kind of life he lives? What are his beliefs? They said that he is a devotee of the Mother Goddess of Calcutta. That Mother Goddess is the ugliest temple in the whole world. Because the Mother Goddess of Calcutta is a black woman standing on the chest of her husband. Every woman does it. In one hand holding a freshly cut head, blood is dripping. On another hand a sword, very ferocious looking. and Calcutta, one of the greatest city in the world. At one time it was the greatest city in the world, the most educated city in India, worships this mother goddess, and worship means killing goats every day. Dozens of goats are killed, and then the meat and the blood is distributed in the devotees, and they eat raw meat as a gift from Mother Goddess. This is the most murderous, primitive hangover of religion. So I inquired about the man. I looked at his photograph. He looked perfectly the right person to worship Mother Goddess. He was a wrestler in his youth. Now he has a big belly. A black man, very fat, looking very dangerous. I inquired what time he worships the Mother Goddess. He has a small replica. He has made a small temple. So I went there early 5 o'clock morning. He was worshipping Kali, Jai Kali, victory to Kali. I entered the temple, and by his side I also started saying, victory to Kali, Jai Kali. He looked at me. He said, you are also a worshipper of Kali? I said, I have always been a worshipper of Kali. And you are the only man in this whole city who knows what real truth is. He looked at me, because everybody thought that he is a little crack, a crackpot. I said, you are the only religious man in this irreligious city. He said, it's strange that only you recognized me. We are brothers in faith. He hugged me. I said, don't kill me, because he was a wrestler. The only safety was his belly. He could not pull me beyond his belly. There was a distance, so I was safe. He said, what do you want? For what you have come? I said, I want simply to sit under your feet and learn. He said, come to the office. And because you have recognized me, I also recognized you. I will give you full freeship, extra scholarship which is in the power of the principal, and whatever you need. Accommodation in the hostel, free food. I said, everything. But just the second day the difficulty arose. The professor of philosophy went to him and he said, you have created a trouble for me. That young man is difficult and impossible. And he creates such arguments that the whole class laughs, and I feel very embarrassed. And perhaps he is right, but that is not the point. The point is my prestige. If I lose my prestige, nobody is going to listen to me. The principal called me. With great respect, he called me close to him, pulled a chair, told me to sit down, and he said, "These people will not understand us. They are utterly blind. I cannot expel you as others have done. So some way has to be found. I have thought that I will give you full 100% attendance. You don't come to the college." I said, "Great. That suits me. I never went to the college, but I used to go once in a while, 5 o'clock, just to give that man a little juice. When I passed and graduated from his college, I told him that it was just a joke. He said, "What?" I said, "I have to tell you the truth. Now you cannot harm me at all. I hate your Kali, and I say to you, death to your Kali and you. You are perpetuating a murderous creed. Are you a cannibal? That woman is holding a man's hand freshly cut and blood is dripping." He said, "But for 2 years continuously you were saying Jai Kali, victory to Kali." I said, "I had to say. Truth I tried in many colleges, truth is expelled. I thought perhaps lie will succeed, and it succeeded. This is my certificate. It is based on a lie. You have lied because I have never come to the college. 100% attendance you have given me. 100% I was absent." He became afraid. I may expose him to the newspapers. He said, okay, cool down. You have your way, I have my own way. I said, "That's right. Don't ever use the word us. That does not apply. I was just tolerating for these 2 years somehow to get the graduation so I can move to some university far away from this city, where truth brings trouble. Lies bring great fortunes, because the whole society lives on lies. Their God is a lie, their heaven is a lie, their hell is a lie, their devil is a lie, their conception of morality is full of lies. Surrounded by the ocean of lies, if you insist to be true, obviously you are going to get into trouble. but it is a joy. To get into trouble for the sake of truth is one of the greatest blessings one can think of. At another time, Hoju, a disciple of Rinzai, said to Tanku, a fellow disciple, when a man comes to you who has put away the second and third roots, how do you receive him? The second and third roots are the three poisons: desire, hate, ignorance. The question was, when a man comes to you who has put away the second and third roots, how do you receive him? Tanku responded, you have in bringing up this question already made a mistake. He is saying a man who is full of poisons, desire, hate, ignorance, will not come to a master in the first place. In the second place, if he comes, the doors will be closed in his face. There is no question of welcoming him. Your question is fundamentally wrong. In the first place, such a man will never come to the master, who is living in all kinds of poisons, hate, desire, ignorance. He will avoid the master. Even if the master comes close to him, he will escape. Just as darkness escapes when you bring the light in. Have you ever seen darkness coming close to light just to have a closer look? Or having a little conversation in the middle of the night? No, such a person will not come near to a master. And if by chance he happens to come, the master will close the door in his face. First, he has to clean himself of the lowliest poisons. Only then a search for truth can begin. Hoju replied, you also have not avoided error. Tanku has said him, you have already made a mistake by asking the question. Hoju replied, you have also not avoided error by answering it. In any form, you should have remained silent. Both are masters, and just playing with each other. Tanku continued, be my friend. Hoju added, his hand by his side, you old robber. This is a greeting in Zen. You have robbed my heart. The old robber. Masu wrote, "Butterflies follow lovingly the flower wreath placed on the coffin." For butterflies, there is no difference between death and life. Butterflies follow lovingly the flower wreath placed on the coffin. This should be the attitude of a meditator, witnessing everything, birth and death, with the same love, with the same clarity, with the same silent witnessing. Manisha has asked a question. It is generally accepted that evolution is for the better, that it is a process of improvement, of refining. But Friedrich Nietzsche maintains that species don't grow more perfect because the weaker, who are in the majority, defeat the strong. What is your understanding? Manisha, I agree with Friedrich Nietzsche totally. Man would have evolved tremendously, but because of the weaker masses, Socrates is poisoned. Now Socrates was a peak of evolution. If the weaker people had not destroyed Socrates, Greece would have been at the top of all the nations today. With the poisoning of Socrates, Greece has been falling lower and lower and lower. Not any evolution, but involution. And Nietzsche is right that the weaker are in the majority, hence they can destroy the delicate flower of evolution, which has a strength of its own. Even destroyed, it will remain somehow in the air. Still, Socrates is as alive in the air as not even the alive people are. But the majority of the little man cannot tolerate a very evolved being like Buddha. Buddha has been under many attempts on his life. The story is very beautiful. One day his own brother, Devadatta, who has become his disciple, but wanted him to declare him his successor. Now, no Buddha declares successors. It is not a dynasty. It is not like wealth that the elder son will succeed it. You become a Buddha, it is not a question of succession. Nobody is preventing. I am giving you as much attention as to everybody. Buddha told Devadatta that you become a Buddha. It is not a question of succession. I cannot declare you to be my successor. There are many enlightened disciples and you are not even enlightened. This hurt him very much. He dropped the commune. He was also a prince. He had a little small gang of followers in the commune. They also dropped with him. He was thinking to create another commune in which there will be no need for anybody to make him a successor. He will be the founder. But he could not gather. He had no light in his eyes, no grace in his hands, no ecstasy in his heart. He was just hungry for prestige, power. Slowly, those who have come with him, they also deserted. Most of them went back to Buddha with apologies. Being alone, he became furious, almost mad. He wanted to kill Gautam Buddha, his own brother. And he tried. Once Buddha was sitting on a rock meditating. Just behind him was a big hill. Devadatta was hiding, and he rolled a big rock directed towards Gautam Buddha. It would have crushed the fragile flower of the Buddha. All that is higher is fragile. A lotus flower, a rose flower, they have a certain strength and beauty, but if you put them under a rock, they will be destroyed. Of course, their fragrance will remain in the air. The story is beautiful. It says that the rock came directly towards Buddha, and just as it was going to hit Buddha, it turned its root, saving Buddha alive. It looks just a parable, but one never knows. Rocks are also alive. They grow. They have a certain sensitivity. Perhaps it is a factual phenomenon, because many other things are of the same category happened. Devadatta became very mad. He could not believe how the rock changed the root. Just 1 feet more, and Buddha would have been crushed under it. Devadatta's father has a mad elephant who was always kept in chains. He was very dangerous. Only criminals who have been sentenced to death were thrown near the cage of the mad elephant, and he immediately pulled them in, killed them, ate them. They were keeping that elephant just to kill the criminals. Devadatta got the key and asked the man in whose control the elephant has grown. Still, even in his madness, he remembered him and always followed him. Wherever he wanted him to take, he could take him. He never harmed him. It is said that elephants have perhaps the greatest memory system. They never forget. If you kill one elephant, husband or wife, they live in couples, never leave the other one alive. Otherwise, the other one will find a way to kill you. Wherever you go, even 20 years afterwards, people have been killed. The same is true about cobra snakes. They live in couples. Never kill one. If you want to kill both. If you kill one, the other will find a way. Wherever you go, years may pass, but he will find a way to kill you. Their memory system is very strong. Because this man has raised the elephant from his very childhood, even in his madness, he remembered him, his love, his compassion. Devadatta bribed the man and told him to take the elephant towards Buddha. He is meditating outside the city in a mango grove. The man took the mad elephant who has killed many men. His chains were removed as they reached close to the mango grove. And the man who used to control him took him directly to Gautam Buddha. There was every possibility. They had not thought that anything else can happen. The elephant will kill Gautam Buddha. But the elephant came near the Buddha. With his small eyes, he looks at the Buddha. And then he touched, bending down his knees with his head, Buddha's feet. Neither the man who controlled him could believe it, nor Devadatta could believe it. But even such is the blindness of man. Devadatta continued to do something or other to destroy. Seeing these two phenomena, he should have stopped. Even a mad elephant has the sensitivity that this is not an ordinary man to be destroyed. He is not a criminal. Even a rock moved, changed its path, but Devadatta is much more unconscious than the elephant and the rock. He continued Buddha's whole life to kill him. And there is every suspicion, because nothing is on record. Buddha died of food poisoning. there is every possibility Devadatta's hand is behind it. The food was given to him by somebody else mixed with poison. Manisha, man could have grown to immense heights, to the Himalayan peaks of consciousness, but because of the unconscious, stupid majority of people, the evolution is delayed continuously. You kill one Socrates, you have delayed evolution perhaps for 1,000 years. You kill a Buddha by poisoning, you have again delayed the evolution for another 1,000 years. You kill Al-Hillaz Mansur and you have delayed the evolution. Evolution is being delayed continuously because the majority cannot tolerate anybody rising like an Everest, the highest peak of the Himalayas, in consciousness, in love, in compassion. We have to create a great force of thousands of Buddhas. Only then there is a possibility of a quantum leap in evolution. It is time for Sardar Gurdiyal Singh. Thanks for the new drum set you gave me, says little Ernie to Uncle Newton. It is the best present I have ever had. Really, says Uncle Newton. I am very pleased you like it. Yeah, explains Ernie. And I am getting rich already. Really, asks Uncle Newton. Rich? Are you becoming a professional? Kind of, replies Ernie. You see, my mom pays me $1 a day not to play those drums you have given me. And my grandpa pays me $10 a week not to play them at night. George Bush's appointment as the President of America goes to his head completely. He becomes even more power mad and rude and throws his weight around a lot. One day, Bush is invited to a big gathering of the intellectuals of American society. He is pushing his way through the guests to get to lunch when he stomps on Professor Popoff's toys. Well, says Popoff to Bush, the least you could do is apologize. Me? Apologize? Says Bush. Do you know who I am? I am the President of America. Thank you, says Professor Popoff. That may not be an apology, but it is certainly an explanation. One day, at the Sunnyvale Insane Asylum, Crazy Carl escapes and runs to town. He is very impressed when he comes upon the local laundromat. So he decides to go in and wash his clothes. As he is doing his laundry, he sees two very pretty girls, Griselda and Bimbo, also doing their wash. Crazy Carl likes them both, so he asks them if they would like to make love. They both smile and say yes, and the three of them get going at right there. Just then Bernie Bernstein, the local newspaper reporter, stumbles upon Crazy Carl and the girls making love on top of a washing machine. Bernie takes one look, then pops a photograph of the orgy for his paper. Crazy Carl looks up in shock and then runs off. Bernie, with camera in hand, rushes away to report the story. That afternoon, the headlines read, "Nut screws, washers and bolts." Nivedana. Be silent. Close your eyes. Feel your body to be completely frozen. This is the right moment to look inwards. Gather your whole life energy. Collect your total consciousness. And with an urgency, as if this is the last moment of your life, rush towards the center of your being. That is the only shelter in existence, because that center is beyond birth and death. It is your eternity, it is your cosmos, it is your Buddha. As you go deeper and deeper, you come closer and closer to yourself. A great silence starts descending on you. An immense peace, a great joy, as you come to the center of your being. You have found your original face. Your original face is the Buddha. Remember only one quality of the Buddha, because Buddha has no other quality. Witnessing. Witness that you are not the body. Witness that you are not the mind. Witness that you are not the astral body, witness that all the experiences that are happening and will be happening, you are not. You are just a detached, unidentified witness. This witnessing is the greatest miracle in the world, because it takes you out of the circle of birth and death and gives you the wings to fly into the eternal sky. It brings you to your home. It makes you aware of the forgotten language of your being. It fills your heart with love, compassion, kindness. It creates a strange longing in you how to share it. To make it clear, Nivedana, relax, but remember not to forget the witness. That is your very soul. That is your spirituality. That opens the door of all the mysteries of existence. At this moment, you are the most blessed people on the earth. Collect as many flowers, as much fragrance as possible. Persuade the Buddha to come along with you. Every day the distance is becoming lesser and lesser. When Buddha starts to be your ordinary life, day-to-day life, when he expresses his grace, his understanding, his enlightenment in your ordinary activities, gestures, words, silences, waking or asleep, you have found the ultimate truth of your being. The day it happens is the most glorious, the most splendorous, the most purest of your life. There is nothing beyond it. It is the truth, it is the beauty, it is godliness. Therefore, Nivedana calls you back. Just witness that your separation from other Buddhas has melted down. The Buddha auditorium has become an ocean of consciousness, of 10,000 Buddhas without any ripples, without any star. Collect the juice of life, the sense of eternity, and persuade the Buddha to come along with you. He will come. He has always come without any doubt. It is your intrinsic nature. It is nobody's monopoly. It is absolutely your territory. Nobody can interfere in it. Nivedana, come back. But remember, you are coming back as a Buddha, with the same grace, with the same beauty, with the same grandeur. Sit down for a few moments just to remember the golden path you have followed in. Just to remember that Buddha has come very close to you like a shadow. One Buddha can create enough fire to make millions of fire, of flame. A single seed can make the whole earth green.